Hello guys, it's Unders. Today I'm going to look at tackling a couple of audio issues for vloggers and podcasters, because recently with recording out and about and having to record multiple things, I've run into a few different issues and I've done some things differently to how you would ever record a band or anything like that, and just some really useful things I've noticed that people seem to be missing. Stuff you can do in your video editor that's really easy, that can just help you improve your audio. As well, we're going to find out who is the CLA Mixdown winner. You can maybe see on the screen because I've just done the random select, so we'll announce that very shortly. Let's get into the video. And the very first little tip I'm going to give you guys is, if you've got music and vocals or other audio going on, do your absolute best to record and isolate the vocals separately. So you can see in the project I've got here, I've got my audio channels and I've got a vocal channel separate to everything else, which means I can work and isolate that vocal. Now, I understand it's not possible for everybody to do. When I'm doing a screen capture, this is relatively easy for me to achieve now. In the early videos that I was using, it wasn't at all. I didn't have a separate microphone. I didn't have a way to record the two audio streams at once. And what I had to do there is slightly different. I had to cut the audio apart and use gates and things like that just to make it listenable. But working like this is a much better way if you can achieve it. Now, the second little tip I want to give you guys is using your fades. Whatever audio editor you're using, you have the ability to cut the audio and introduce fades. And fades will really help you remove background noise and clicks and pops when the audio changes. Because it's something I hear in a lot of vlogs that hasn't been dealt with. You've just got these straight cuts and the audio pops and clicks, and you get sudden fade outs in the background because the audio's changed and it sounds really unnatural. So if you grab literally any piece of audio here, you can get these two little markers up here. This is in Final Cut. It's similar in most of the other editors. Even if you're using the free ones, you can do this. If we zoom right in, we can see that I've cut here and it goes straight into this section here. So we end on a vocal and then it drops straight into this little time-lapse instrumental bit. To use it, you can give that a go. But what I've done here, just after the end of go, is the sort of tail off of the word, and I've just rolled that off. I've used the fade just to roll the background noise out. So if you listen to it, you can just hear it roll off naturally and doesn't suddenly drop or cut and pop away and then that beat hits in. To use it, you can give that a go. If you do that meticulously throughout your audio, you're going to get a much better response. And if you're unable to use the next tip, which I'm going to show you how to use a gate, you can actually cut all of these quieter bits of your audio out and then just fade each and every bit. It's going to be a lot of work, but you're going to get a much better result. Now, what I do for this particular piece of audio is I introduce something called a gate. In Final Cut, you can do that by going into the effects, having all the AV effects on. If we go into gate, it will give you the Logic noise gate, and if you select the piece of audio you want to apply it to, add it, you can then open it this way. And a gate, what that allows to happen is audio will pass through it, but when it becomes below a certain level, it cuts off. So when I'm being quiet or a low breath, something like that, it will cut that off, and it takes, in my personal settings here, 153.4 milliseconds to fade out to nothing. And whenever the audio is less than the threshold here, that will happen. And it has a hysteresis of 6.5 decibels. That allows for a fluctuation in that sound before the release then kicks in. So what that allows us to do, and we can see it active and inactive here. We have this little notification here that will show when it's active. And this piece of audio has a gate on it. So when it goes below the threshold, you can see these pieces here, it will cut in and out if we locate the right place. Gives us a much fuller aspect, whereas if we were to just do the regular balanced style. And then you see it's gone again. So it's cutting any background noise out. If we were to disable it, which I'm pretty sure we can do by going into here. Come on. Beautiful. So we've now disabled that noise gate. We're going to have noise in the background. We introduce the gate, gives us a much activates and takes that away. Whereas if we were to just do the regular balanced style, that's another little great tip for taking away audio. Now, I just want to give you another example. This is a little bit more extreme, but it does involve some third-party software, something you might have to buy. I've had to use it a couple of times when I've recorded audio outside, or in this case that I'm going to show you is recording a podcast when I had in-ear monitoring in, and the sound in the room I was recording, this room, changed drastically. So I've been able to fix that, but it's only because I had this software that I was able to do it. So I'm just going to show you that as well, because if you're running into those situations and you record out and about a lot, it might be something worth investing in for you as well. So let's have a little look at that. Okay, so this one isn't a video example. However, if you're out vlogging and you're having to work in unexpected areas, unexpected scenarios, you're likely going to run into a problem like I did here. So we were recording a particularly long podcast at around 2.5 hours, and what I was doing, I was monitoring it in ear with mics and everything set up. Now, about 3/4 of the way in, I had no idea this had kicked in, but my Mac had decided it was time to do a time machine backup. So all of my hard drives spin up, and I've got 2 set on the desk, and they start backing up. And that suddenly adds a load of noise to my vocal channel where we're recording here, and just wasn't acceptable. So I wanted to show you guys that maybe have to work in those scenarios more often, something that might be really useful. I've used Isotope RX Dialogue Denoiser. It's a mouthful, I get it, but it absolutely helps us out here. So I've compressed the audio a little bit. There's a noise gate on it as well. We're going to take those off, and this is the key thing here. So if we listen to the vocal here with those other effects off, this is just how it would sound with the denoiser on, and I'm going to disable it and you'll hear a massive difference. We touched on there with like presets in, be it Final Cut or be it Logic or whatever it is you're working in, is a huge thing. So I have just a vocal chain set up, much like you. So completely listenable, but now if we take the denoiser off. We touched on there with like presets in, be it Final Cut or be it Logic or whatever it is you're working in, is a... You can hear those drives have span up in the background, giving just that constant computer noise. Put this back on and they're gone. We touched on there with like presets in, be it Final Cut or be it Logic or whatever it is you're working in. Now I haven't even really tweaked this. We can adjust the threshold, adjust the reduction, so it's quite minimal. We touched on there with like presets in, be it Final Cut or be it Logic or whatever it is you're working. And the trick here is just to find the best balance where it gives a okay sounding vocal and is taking that background audio away. And if you just A/B it, you get an instant difference. We touched on there with like presets in, be it Final Cut or be it Logic or whatever it is you're working in, is a huge thing. So it's just a way that if you quite often have to say record out and about in public places, depending on what sort of audio issues you're going to run into doing your vlogs or podcasting, whatever it is you're recording, investing in something like this might help you out. Now Isotope do a really good option in the RX series. Waves do a really good option in the Waves noise reduction bundle. Those are the two that I've got experience with working in different places, and in this case this has saved it, because going back and recording another hour and a half of the podcast and remembering everything we said and did, not going to happen. So this is the fix for this situation. I mean, in hindsight, I should maybe have just turned all the drives off, but I didn't expect a time machine to kick in. I didn't expect us to be recording for that long, and you know, with in-ear monitoring going on, I just didn't hear it kick in and didn't discover this until I came to edit everything at the end. So that's just another little tip for you guys if you are running into those sorts of audio issues and you maybe haven't been able to invest in all the gear, or you can't mic up situations properly and things like that. You can fix it at the end. It's not the way to go, but these tools exist for exactly that reason. Hopefully these videos have been helpful for you. So I'll probably see you next week. Let's find out who won the CLA Mixdown plugin. Okay, so the CLA Mixdown winner, congratulations to Juan Hernandez, maybe Jon Hernandez. Not entirely sure how to say it, I'll be honest. Dude, I've emailed you. Hopefully you can respond to me. If you respond to me, then we've got everything set up for you to go. And effectively, I'm just going to send you the code for CLA Mixdown. You have to go register it on your Waves account, and then it is all yours, buddy. So congratulations on that. If you guys want to see more competitions and things like that, throw a comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see, and we'll see what we can get arranged, because I absolutely loved all the input and everything I got from you guys in terms of telling me what you were doing, what sort of music you were creating, how you were going about it, and a little bit of me wanting to try and help out everyone. I can't do it, but let me know again in the future what you guys want to do, and we'll see if we can get that together. So thank you very much, guys. I will see you on the next video. Go!